So this is a quick little story that happened last week, 2 days before Thanksgiving. I go home, spend some time with family and friends for Thanksgiving break. You know, I'm in college right now, so we get some days off of school, which is nice. And I go out with some friends, and and basically the end of the night is just me and a few friends, one guy or two guys and one girl, and we somehow end the night on the football field of the high school that we went to. And it's late, it's like 1 a.m., and the girl, so the reason I say it's 1 a.m. is because, it's pretty cold out, as you can imagine in November, even though it's not that cold because Seattle's a pretty mild climate. But anyway, the girl who was there, she goes to school down in sunny California. So, she's coming up from 80-degree weather, so comparatively, relatively for her, it's freezing out. And one of the guys there, he's talking about Band of Brothers, the really, I haven't seen it yet, but after hearing him talk about it, I really want to watch it. It's got amazing ratings too. It's a fantastic series on World War II. And he's talking about some of the stories, and then, the girl is just kind of like, trying to warm herself up. She's not shivering or anything, but she's definitely warm. And she's like, gosh, it's so cold out here. And my friend just looks at her and goes, "Oh yeah, imagine being in Bastogne," and starts talking about the Battle of Bastogne and how it took place in December of 1944, and the soldiers are freezing their hands off and they can't even shoot their guns because their fingers are frozen shut, and they were spending weeks just buried in the snow, just like miserable conditions. And I'm just dying laughing, and then the girl's like, "You're right, yes sir, yeah, I'm warm," and trying to talk herself into it, and I'm just dying laughing. And he kept saying like, "Oh yeah, just imagine being in Bastogne," and that just was so funny to me. Except I think that there's actually something to it. Just this last week, I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, a very, very, very renowned novel by a very well-liked, popular, renowned author. And it's basically just about these two sisters who were really brave women, and they're war heroes, and they just undergo these brutal conditions. I forgot to say that it takes place during World War II, so kind of fitting. And even though it's historically accurate, like the historical fiction is very accurate, although it's still a novel with two made-up characters. Although I think that it's kind of based off some women who did do similar heroic acts in the war. But anyway, you're just kind of reading about how they can barely eat and how they just are so dirty. I didn't plan this talk out that well, so I don't have everything off the top of my head ready to just bang, 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 line it out for you. But it's just like, oh my God, it's just miserable. Imagine living back there. And then you think about the comfortable lifestyle, the most comfortable lifestyle ever that our current generation is living in. Yes, I know we're in a pandemic. Yes, I know that there are still problems, a lot of problems going on, and that we still experience pain and suffering, of course, because how could we not? But it's like, oh my gosh, when you hear about stories like that, when you hear Nate saying, imagine being in Bastogne, it's like, yeah, you know what, I'm not covered in the snow. I could just go ahead and take a warm shower right now. I could get a glass of water, hopefully, right now. And, it's like the little things, it just fills you with a sense of gratitude. I know I'm kind of going on and on about a basic point here, but there is something about feeling grateful compared to some of the amazingly heroic, difficult, just baffling stories that have come in our past. And yes, I just think that there's something to it. I'm maybe my number one character trait as a person, character trait, did I say straight, is gratitude. I genuinely feel very, very grateful right now for a lot of things. And so I think it might be a little easier for me than others to hear a story like this and be infused with a sense of gratitude, but I still think that we can all easily do it. It's not that hard, and just to think back and just feel grateful for the little things. I know it sounds cliche, but don't take those for granted, and that might just be a little bit reminder for you. I think that's a reminder that we could hear every week, really every day. So I know that this is something that you've heard before, except I still wanted to pass along because hopefully it makes you feel grateful for something right now, today, that you wouldn't have felt grateful if you hadn't watched the video, and that right there is enough. If you just feel grateful for one thing today that you wouldn't have otherwise, it's a successful video in my book. So I hope that you do feel a little bit grateful that you're here getting to watch YouTube from wherever the comfort is that you're watching from, rather than being buried in the snow in Bastogne. So I just want to pass that on to you, and I wish you a great day.